Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on day 16 of Tour de Fleece. For the past few days, I've been working on these art bats that I purchased at a fiber festival in Sati, but the yarns weren't dry for me to take pictures of, so I'm going to show them to you now. This is the one I spun up yesterday, day 15, and I think it's day 15. Yes, use 3 or more colors. So this is a 2-ply from, it's 50% BFL locks, I think 35% or 30% kid mohair, and then the rest of it is silk. Anyways, I have 3 bats. This is the second bat, and I spun this up yesterday and just did a basic 2-ply. It's full of texture and thick and thin and all sorts of fun stuff. This is the one I spun today, day 16, and I just left it as singles. And it has faded for 2 reasons. One is I added fibers to it, so I used the bat as kind of an add-in. So I blended it with other wools, and then when I was washing it and fulling it, the colors bled a lot. So the red was originally just sari silk, and I blended it with other red wool. Now, with fulling, what I mean is slightly felting. So these strands really want to stick together, and I have to kind of force them apart. That's exactly the level of felting that I was looking for when I was fulling this. The other yarn was the first one I did. I spun this in May, and it's it's core spun and then spiral plied around crochet thread. So this was fun. It's really textured, and they're all 3 wash, so I now have 3 very different yarns, but I'm really pleased with them. All right, let's get on to day 16. All right, so the first thing I did was start separating the bat by color, and I wasn't being super nitpicky about it. There's going to be some color blending when you do this, and that's okay. It adds to the overall character of your finished yarn. So this is called deconstructing a bat, and then what I'm going to do next is reconstruct into multiple bats, and that's a lot of fun to do. So if you have a bat that you don't like how it's spinning, or you don't like the texture of it and you want to do something different, or you don't have any add-ins but you have a bunch of wool, and then you have this particular bat or something like this that's a lot of locks, that's really textured, you can use a bat like this as add-ins for your spin, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm just showing a brief little segment sped up to 4 times speed because this took forever. But this is only half the fiber. And now we're going to start blending it. So I start with some regular comb top, just put a layer on the drum carder, knowing I don't have a lot of fiber here. The bat was about 2.2 ounces before I deconstructed it. I decided I could have used my smaller drum carder, but this is the one I had out, and so this is the one I used. And you can make smaller bats on a larger drum carder. It's not a big deal. So I'm just gently opening up the locks and getting them to card up easily, and layering in other wool, some that's a light gray and some that's white to go with the white section, because I wanted to carry on the idea of not a solid white, which was the locks were undyed, but they weren't solid white, and then there's some sari silk in there. So I wanted to keep the spirit of the original intact while making it much more enjoyable to spin. Also, adding other wool into the bat that you originally had will give you more yardage because it's more fiber. So that made the project almost double in size, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I carded each of these colors up 3 times, and I'm allowing you to see most of that footage. I'm trying to juggle showing you everything I'm doing and not taking 10 hours to do so. Oh, okay. You know, that was an exaggeration, but still. For this blue one, I'm actually combining a light blue and a dark blue together and then putting in the, I believe the Kid Mohair and Sari Silk blend because, again, Sari Silk was in everything, which is fine. That's what I wanted. It's the one consistency through all 3 colors. But I thought that light blue added just a pop of attitude to this particular color. And I did have to open up the locks a lot more with the blue because they did not want to open on their own. And at first I just carded it twice and then I later carded a 3rd time because I decided afterwards that I wanted all 3 bats to be consistently blended. Okay, so I am probably going to turn on some music here and let you enjoy watching the blending process, and I will be back for the spinning portion here in just a moment. All right, so here we are on to the spinning portion, except that we're not quite ready to spin yet. I did not know when I was carding how I wanted to spin this. I didn't know while I was doing this stage right here. I ended up dividing each color into 12 portions. No, they are not equal, but it doesn't matter. Once I was finished, I had decided to spin a self-striping single. Now, if I had decided to do that before I started separating the fibers into 12 little nests each, I would have done probably 15 or 16 instead of 12 because the stripes ended up really long, but that's okay. I'll figure out something to do with them eventually. So it's just a quick divide them all up, count them and make sure there's 12 of each color, and then decide what order to spin them in. I decided to spin blue, red, white, blue, red, white, blue, red, white, just one little nest at a time until I got them all spun. And it turned out gorgeous, as you already saw the finished yarn. And I'm really, really happy with it, and I can't wait to reskein it or wind it into a ball and start knitting something with it. I'm thinking a shawl, a cowl, a scarf, something that will set off and showcase the stripes. But I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm gonna do. Because I knew I wanted this to be a singles yarn, I spun with very low twist, enough to twist lock the fibers so they wouldn't drift apart, although I did have trouble with that every now and then. But for the most part, I think I only had issues with it not twist locking twice. And the rest of the time I didn't have any issues whatsoever. So as you already saw in the beginning of the video, the finished yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I'm incredibly happy with it, and I absolutely cannot wait to sample it and knit something. Not sure yet what I'm going to make. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I have approximately 200 yards to work with. And it's about a worsted weight, I think. So kind of thick, 200 yards, make something, I don't know what. Suggestions are more than welcome. If you have any patterns that you would recommend that would work well for self-striping, doesn't have to be a stitch pattern, just a basic shape pattern. Okay, I think that's everything I have to say about today's spin. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the entire project. It spun up so much easier than the other two bats did, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you are enjoying Tour de Fleece. And for those of you that have stuck with me this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me every day and being patient with the gaps between videos coming out. I appreciate you so much. You are awesome, and I'm thankful that you're here with me. All right, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.